What's up, Morbid? What's up, King? Nice to see you boys in here. Alright, should be good.
Yeah, I think
Good to start the review.
defensive goes, just that when they use the bubbles and speed, we just like rotate back and then wait for them to expire and then like push in. Like we speed back and then push back in.
Yeah, let me know if the sound's whack, boys. I haven't done a Twitch VOD in a minute.
You can pretty much always mirror it.
Yeah.
I think we just do Zotes or something.
Yeah.
Or definitely.
Alright, let's
So
go ahead
we-
and
so
look
we
at
start
the
holding-
the players we have so far. Alright, we have Harblue, we have Vita Coco. Good choices, I like them. Those are the only names I recognize. Sorry for anybody else who's in here.
Forward, right? Like kind of near the choke.
I might have heard
See
of
them
Tanner
pop
before.
bubbles,
I think I saw him in ranked
we
once.
Speed back, and then after those.
Yo,
bubbles
thanks for the
expire,
follow,
we pop
dog.
our bubbles and push in, kind of thing.
Blow bubbles for free though. They
Well,
only
no, you know what I mean though. You know what I mean though.
like, get them and
On
then
a Moira then. I don't think.
I don't understand completely what we're trying to do.
But so what's the
King, that's incredibly toxic. Come on, bro.
What do we
Do Ana. I always
Yeah,
like.
do
After you were 316 to try to farm Dragonblade today, like, I don't know if you can ask stuff that's toxic.
Okay, we're gonna try and bait their teammate bubble, and let's actually use it as an engagement. But we don't have to do it instantly. But we're trying to like pretty much
Shouldn't we just pick
bait
the
up their
eight?
bubbles around choke. So we
Yeah.
what?
If I remember correctly, you said this was during tryouts at least. So, probably not the biggest thing, but eventually you'd like to more or less have defaults set up for your maps, so you can just like go straight into the map, know what you're playing, and just roll out with it, rather than having to have this conversation. It's like 10 seconds on the clock right now, and you guys still haven't really talked about how you want to play the map at all. You've been more just talking about what comp you want, and then like rather basic ideas of how you want to play it. So a little bit more heads up on how to play. Not a big deal though, because you're still in tryouts.
Yeah, it's gonna be nade them on the
If they go around statue, you rotate around them and nade them.
Yeah, we're run walking to the race. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, scout batch. Or scout.
Understandable.
Like the actual
Yeah,
goes.
we have to, yeah.
Yeah. Like play on our rank records.
It's just
Okay, so you're just doing a chokehold. Makes sense.
Yep, looks like goats.
Vengeance?
Yep.
3:45 on the clock. Hit tab. See what they're running. Talk about the comps and adjustments you need to make. I think you hit tab a second ago. Let me. Is there a way to rewind with Twitch VODs? It's like back arrow, right? I just have to try to guesstimate it, maybe. Yeah, we'll just guesstimate it. Oh,
Yep,
nice.
looks like goats.
Okay, so you hit tab before it unlocks,
Play statue, found statue.
and then you have first contact with that tab. Okay, yeah. So 3:45 on the clock. Comps are unlocked on the view screen. Hit tab, see what they have, talk about what you need to do. So if they're running something you weren't expecting, adjust plans accordingly. If they are running something you're expecting, just adjust your plan or reiterate your plan to allow the rest of the team to know what you're doing. That way you don't have issues.
Speak us back. Run set. Run. Speed through. Hop hard.
Good job.
Send.
That's really good so far. That right there is really big. Like looking around to make sure that you're actually looking to like see if people are split or need help. Really important. Make sure to keep doing that.
Nice.
Get his eye,
Is that? Oh, she's.
I got space back. Got hard about.
Reloading.
Good call to kite there. Playing forward would be too aggressive.
Help her run.
You guys advantage. You can push this 100% here as well.
Dunks to feeder, just abuse him.
Monka toxic. Come on, bro.
Okay, they're coming up on like trans. Yeah.
Just nano your Ryan. You don't have shutter yet.
Yep.
I'll call. We're gonna go into him.
Okay, going on.
3, 2, 1. Give nano.
Swing.
Hey, it's
Run, one. You push it through. Yeah, they have grav.
Actually, look where I'm gonna hide. I'm
Okay.
gonna be hiding top of feeder here.
Let them
Okay,
walk
okay.
in. Let them walk in.
Yeah.
We're a statue.
Okay, so good job calling that they have grav. Once you call that they have grav, you need to make sure to remind the team how to play around that. So like, if they have grav, then you want your front line forward and everybody else splitting to play to the sides. Just making sure. So like, for example, like okay, if you know they have grav coming this way, you know that they're playing for grav, and you don't have beat, and I'm assuming your other support doesn't have a support ulti either. Then what you want to do is have your Rhine play the choke, have your Diva play a side next to your Rhine, directly looking at him, and then have your rest of the team spread out along the way back towards the point. That way, if they try to solo grab the Rhine, the Diva can eat it, and if they try to walk past the Rhine gets free cleave onto them as well as the Diva in the process of that.
We're a statue side. They have shatter here.
Have shatter.
Guys, they
Shatter
have
grab.
shatter. I'm not going to block it. Play spread. I expect you to. I want to swing on this.
I'm gonna grab though also.
Be spamming here. You should like never not be spamming as Lucio if you don't have ult. Arb.
Shatter.
Is that someone?
Okay, so let's go back. We're at 314, 19, 303 should be good. Okay, so
They're coming up on like trans.
you press tab to see what they all have, and what ults they have, and what ults you have. You communicate what they have. This is good so far. You're 50% right here. I'd like to see you play either up on the statue behind you here, that ledge over there, the ledge further back. Just like play some ledge where you can be firing, or like, just wall right around somewhere, spraying into them, getting your ult built up.
Oh, come on, we're gonna go into him.
Okay, going on.
As Lucio, you like always want to be spamming.
One, give nano.
Swing.
Oh wait, this is the wrong fight.
Run.
Okay, regardless,
Push through.
should be spamming as Lucio 24/7. If they don't have anything that can one-shot you, you should be up in the skybox spamming them until you need to help your team.
Okay.
Let them walk in.
But like every pre-fight, you should just be up in the skybox if they don't have a one-shot, just free-farming.
Shatter grab.
I'm not going to block it. Play spread. I expect.
Okay, so you call it they have Shatter Grab, you call not to block it. Harb goes for a Harb play, which doesn't have getting value. So right here in a second, we'll see Harb go for the play. It doesn't get value. As soon as it doesn't get value, okay, so he goes for it, he screws it up, doesn't get value. At this point, you still know that they have both CC ult, so you shouldn't engage off of this. Your Diva's right here, so he can peel for Harb, getting Harb out. You don't need to chase forward help. The rest of you guys should just be playing safe, as if nothing happened. Wait for them to come in and commit ults, and then reply to the ults. But if you push forward here like you do, you end up putting yourself in a position where you can all be grabbed and dying to the grab. So like positioning right here is even fine. With the rest of your team isn't fine, but where you are is still okay in correlation to the rest of your team. But getting grabbed here is really bad.
Play slow.
It doesn't matter because the other team. Okay, never mind. It doesn't matter. I was gonna say it doesn't matter because they didn't punish it, but they ended up punishing it, which makes it a little bit worse for you.
Bomb's coming up as well. Just die here. We can take a fight at Arch. Yeah, swap off and goes down. We can take a fight at Arch. Just don't get picked here.
Okay, I am going to nitpick something real quick about your keybinds, just because I preach about this every single Lucio, so I might as well do it for YouTube. Do not have amp on E. As Lucio, you always want to be able to constantly be using WASD, or whatever your movement keys are, while you're doing everything else. So you shouldn't have a bind that's interfering with your WASD. So for example, instead of having it to E, move it to like whatever bind you have that's open that doesn't affect your WASD fingers. Because Lucio is one of those heroes where you need to be constantly mobile to be fully utilizing his kit. Because he has such a rapid AD spam that you can abuse and also combo with wall rides to give you insane maneuverability while also having an insanely hard to hit hitbox. So don't use a bind that is doubling with your fingers that you need to use for WASD. So look to move E to something that's not interfering with your WASD.
Yeah, I'm swinging spec.
I pinned Zaya.
Particularly since, especially like a bunch of rollouts, like Li Zhang comes to mind as well. Like Li Zhang Gardens, you need your D key in order to get in certain rollouts. And if you're using your D key for amp at the same time, you're not going to be able to hit the rollout efficiently. Because like on Garden's rollout, right, you don't need amp to get from spawn to point. You can get to spawn to point without using amp, and then amp heals on point to get max value. So if you're doing that, then you can't do that if you're amping as you come in window at the same time. Well, you can kind of do it, but you have to like jam your finger on both keys, and it's just awkward.
Hold Arch.
Go spawn.
Nice. He's in there too.
Again,
It's a
they
good play to
have-
push
they
up here.
have, a beat, Diva Bomb.
Yeah, look, I'm playing around statue here. When they had C, lots of the C.
Good comm so far. I should probably make a video about binds,
Look where I'm playing.
so I don't have to keep like reaching it. Because binds on Leash are actually crazy important.
No, it's just a run. Speeding?
Good positioning so far overall.
Stay on the right.
A few of your positionings have been a little bit aggressive, but for the most part, you've had pretty safe positioning.
Nice, sir.
Just land more shots there. It's the only thing to say with that duel. Going for that duel is fine. Just make sure you land shots if you go for it. Right click jump has done wonders for me, Kelly. Yeah, dude. Right click jump and scroll wheel jump are the truth. Like I'm telling you, boys, that's the wave right there. Roll those two and you're good to go. Like impossible to die.
They have Shatter. They have Diva Bomb.
Okay, Tanner.
They have beat, Diva Bomb, Shatter.
That's fine.
Okay, so great call here. You know what they have. Once you see them pathing high ground, so you see that they're coming high ground, you know that they're going to try to wrap around on you like that. Once you see this, the rest of you should wrap through hotel and take statue and play from there. Hopefully you call that, but we'll see. Okay, so Vita calls it. Feels good, man, for Vita. You don't need to use amp during this rotation at all. That rotation is like so micro that you don't need to amp it. Like, this is right here is what you want to have amp for, is to counter whatever they engage with. When the other team is going for, okay, so with rotations and amp usage, if the other team is going for a long rotate and you're going for a short rotate, they need to use amp and you do not need to use amp, since their rotation is much longer than your rotation. Not to mention, if they go on a long rotation and use amp, you go on a short rotation and don't use amp, coming into the next fight, you can abuse the fact that they don't have speed. So you can, like, engage forward, get out abilities, disengage with speed, and then re-engage with the same speed aura, all while they're still waiting for their amp to come off cooldown. You also have amp to dodge this. Good job beating to counter the Diva Bomb. 10 out of 10. Surprising number of players don't know that actually works.
Help Vita, help Vita, help Vita.
Good call to help Vita. Good wall right attack.
Stall point, stall point, stall point. SFS.
Fine so far.
Oh, you got Nido, dude, then you got that card.
What they use?
They use Diva Bomb, they use Beat. They're gonna have transfer next fight, Shatter, and grabs close.
Mic cut out, you get, oh, monk ass. My mic's been acting up today, boys, sorry.
They bubbles and bash.
I'll move it a wee bit closer to my face.
Here, I'm going to, I'm gonna purposely get bash tiers to tank the CDs, okay? Play for it.
What? Dude, Vita's on some next level meta.
Retaliation if we get it in time.
Nah, we're fine, we're fine.
Alright, get ready. I'm peeking out, I'm peeking out.
Yeah, I don't know about that play.
Round one.
The response is fine so far. Okay, so one thing I will say, actually, let's go ahead and head back a second here. That's a little bit too far, but whatever. We'll do some other stuff as well.
Sorry. Help Vita, help Vita.
Maybe be a little bit. Well, I don't know. I was gonna say like be a little bit more aware to peel for Vita there. Harb used bubble too early. He was waiting to tank. He was wanting to tank. Oh. Yeah. That's not the play either way. Okay, so his idea was Harb used bubble too early, so he was wanting. Okay, so Vita was wanting to tank the bash with bubble. Oh no, he wanted to tank the bash and then bubble the shatter afterwards. Okay, and hear me out of this because this may be a little crazy. But what if you just bubble the bash? Because we're on a wide angle. And if you're on a wide angle, just don't play the angle. Just play close. Like you're taking one fight there anyways, so you can just like wait. I'll pause it when we get back there to talk about it more. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Vita's like always been about that new wave. You know, he's always trying to do something new. So I'm not gonna flame him for it. Maybe you never know. Okay, so you should always go out left door, except for all the times you're Lucio. I'm assuming you're doing it here to taxi, but for the most part, right door is far superior for rollouts. Left door is good if you're taxiing, but otherwise, just like always go out right door for rollouts because they're way easier to hit. Probably should be commenting right here that you're still waiting on respawners just to make sure they don't do anything crazy. Not too big of an issue though.
We can trance in retaliation if we get it in time.
Okay, we're gonna do a lot of play pausing in this. Get ready, boys.
Get ready. I'm peeking out.
Okay. You guys didn't have Shatter, right? I'm pretty sure you didn't have Shatter. Okay, we'll assume you didn't have Shatter. Okay, so in a situation like this, it's a very wide angle that you have to play, right? And it's very hard to deal with. So, first of all, Harb needs to save bubble to counter whatever they use onto their Rhine, not preemptively to build energy in the situation. Since you know that the other team's coming in with a, since you know they're coming in with Shatter, you should make sure to hold bubble to counter that. Secondly, if you know they're playing for Bash Shatter, you should be playing to counter Bash Shatter. So that means that you, and Harb behind you all need to not be playing behind Rhine Shield. Because you have to assume the worst case scenario will happen for your positioning against CC ults. So like, assume that they're going to hit the Shatter and position to not be hit by Shatter. So like, you could be sitting up here, you could be sitting up there, like basically just anywhere where you won't get hit by Shatter. Same thing for the rest of the group. They should all be playing split angle to not be hit by Shatter. Also, if you know they're coming with Shatter, rather than trying to fight Cart at this corner, you should be fighting it at this corner right here. Because it's less of a wide angle and they have to more fully commit. So like, if Vito was standing somewhere in that trapezoid or whatever, like if he was sitting like here, right, like somewhere in that square, the brig would have to come fully around the corner and walk into him, or go wide in front. Either which way is very telegraphed, and Harb should be able to bubble it. So just in general, I'm not gonna say his play was a bad idea, but it definitely would have been easier to just chill and wait for them to engage, and then counter it. They also overcommit ults like drastically, so you don't end up dying.
Round one.
Or sorry, they overcommit ults drastically, but you trank so you don't end up dying. I committed like 3 ults to win that fight, tier 1. It's worth right there. We take those all day, boys.
Yeah, that was Trance, that was Shatter, that was Grav. They have Diva Bomb this fight, they beat. Coming up on rally.
I only play with Diva Bomb. We just gonna go into the.
I won't do that.
And then bash and try to get Ryan.
Crosshair placement here should be like there rather than there. Just make sure you're spamming head level for whatever you're spamming at to make sure that you get the most maximum damage possible.
Sorry, Zog. We can do this right now.
Okay, ready?
Good boop. Good call to pressure. Good job not inting in too hard. Yeah, that was a good fight.
Nice. I'm gonna use beat first.
Good call. So
as well.
calling that you're going to use beat first, very good. Good play. Most supports have an issue doing that with communicating with their other support, which I'll just use first. A better way to do that is communicate if then. So if they do this, I'm going to beat. So for example, like if they use a CC, I'll beat. Or if they use Grav Diva, I'll beat. If they shatter, you trank. Something along those lines. That way you just give it a little bit more definition. That way it's covering more variables, which means your flex support will typically also get better value as well.
They have it. Oh, they're gonna be coming up on another grab. Let's play aggro with beat, okay?
We're just playing slow.
Belty, are you still in here and watching? Because if you are, I can't say stuff. I'm gonna be really salty.
I'm beating.
Okay, so that was a good beat. Beat does indeed counter Diva Bomb. Good play.
Ryan.
I don't know.
Ryan.
Okay, so your play there was pretty solid. I'd be a little bit more safe with the positioning there, because better teams will punish you for sitting there, and you'll probably die most of the time. But these guys didn't punish you, so it's fine.
Sorry, I need to die. She's coming out right. We can catch her. Wrap. Do the full wrap.
The higher and higher you progress against teams, the safer and safer you have to play, because they'll be more and more into punishing you.
They're gonna have their shatter.
I like calling that after predicting their plan. If their win count is Grav Bomb, I'd be Grav. If Nano or Ryan, Trank. Yeah, that's a good way to do it too.
Yeah, they have shatter. They have.
It could also be used to help your win condition. Like, if we're going for shatter, I'll be like, if our Ryan gets low, I'll beat or something. Just to like let him know that like he doesn't need to use his ult to sustain. It also really depends upon your support duo, because some Zens farm Trank really fast, others farm it really slow, so you just gotta jiggle that. Good boop. You should be zoning the Zen here rather than farming the rest of them.
Round one. Push them. Nice.
I didn't want to wait for bubble. They were just gonna push it.
It ended up working.
Yeah, that was the shatter. They still have their beat.
One of you two, okay, so at this point, like, you know they're coming in next ult with CC ults. Neither of you nor your flex support has ult. At this point, you need to tell one of your tanks to tank damage, and one of the two of you needs to be farming up your ult. So, whether that means Zen plays hyper aggressive, and since Vito has orb, he takes like a face ton of damage to just help build Trank, but like, you need to do something to build your Trank or beat one or the other. Communicate which one you're building and then go for it. Give all the heals to that player and just hard focus getting it up.
Use the wide angle here. We're just playing slow.
No, I'm pretty sure they beat. I know they beat.
Oh, round one. Watch grab.
You should just leave here. Okay, JK, you should just go in apparently.
Sorry, Soft. Win this. It's winnable. They use grab. Oh,
Okay.
you're going off.
You popped off. Never mind.
Run.
Kiting there also would have been fine since you were down a player. You had amp up, so you could just all safely kite, bait them into you.
Rick.
How did they not?
Nice.
Okay.
They used the grab. They used the grab.
They should have punished you there for that, but
Coming back for shatter.
they didn't. So works out pretty well. For the most part, Felty will confirm this, I'm sure. When you go for Reddit plays, you want to like hit the Reddit and then get out as fast as possible. Because, like I said, the better level teams you face, the harder they'll punish you. Like if you go for a Reddit play against like contender teams, you just die most of the time.
I'm gonna beat first.
Or you'll get the play off and then die. So you'll trade 1-for-1, so it's not as worth.
Ryan. Rick's trying to touch. Brig one.
That beat I would have held. Not for long, but I would have held it for like an extra 2 or 3 seconds just to make sure.
Kill break.
Because you know your team's going to split to chase kills, so hold it until after they started taking damage from splitting, then beat to counter the damage they've taken. This helps sustain for the entire time.
Nice. Baby. I got boop. Good shit, guys.
Yeah.
34.
That was a clean map. Y'all did good. Y'all did real good, that is for sure. Let me, what should I do? Chat, what should I do next? This is against Livid, pretty good team. I will take your word for that. Definitely playoffs caliber. Well, we'll hope to see him there next season then. I don't think you have a Koth map. Yeah, do you care if I review one of your Koth maps as well from this block to see how you play on Koth and give input on your gameplay there? If not, I'll move over to a Korean match, probably. When do you think it's a good time to use a support ult aggressively? When you're at a material disadvantage. So for support ulting aggressively, if you don't have a better option, then it's okay to use it. Or if you're in a situation where you're at a severe disadvantage and you know you can farm your ult fast enough to make it not be an issue, then you can use it as an initiation tool for a dry fight. So, for example, if I know the other team has 6 ults and we have 99%, they have 0% on a Koth map, it's okay for me to commit. Sorry, let me rephrase that. If we have 99%, just lost a point, they capped, and we're going into the next fight with a dry fight, and we know that coming into this fight, they have like 5 or 6 ults, then it's okay for the attacking team that just needs to win one fight to take a dry fight using a ult, preferably a support ulti, to pull out more ults. So if we go in and they shatter us, but they don't get like a ton of value out of it, and you can beat to make your team live through it, the other team will panic and throw in more ults to it. So situationally, for dry fights, it's good to use support ultis aggressively. What else? In situations where you're in an even material position and you need to press forward to get value, it's okay to use support ultis aggressively. So like if the fight's if the fight started and then it starts devolving, but neither side has a clear advantage, you can use the support ult aggressively to help initiate further to like reset HP and then go in. I might have a VOD. Start of the video has Busan. Alright, I'll watch Busan. If you have a video of Morbid, just DM me it, and I'll go over it after Busan. Oh baby, we get Goats gameplay. My favorite comp in the whole game. What? Reptile. Oh, it's okay. Actually, okay. I know half the players on that team now. Okay, I recognize names now. Wait, was this a different block? Oh yeah, this is a different team. A weird team. No, I don't have a good one uploaded to TM. Yeah, I got you. Unlucky. If you want to upload one more, but I'll go over it. Not necessarily now, but I can go over one tomorrow as well if you have it up. Just whenever you get it up, let me know. Ooh, Ace of Spooters, what are you doing? Okay, this has been fine so far. The other team's just into each life. So all you've done is just punish the Anting, which is fine. No, Micah, you're not on. Micah, what is your team doing? Come
They're-
on,
they're
bro,
50.
Micah. We can't be having that.
Yeah. Right here. Yeah.
We have to flame Micah later for this.
They're 50 on Grav. They're gonna have rally here. Reading?
Yeah, this has been really clean so far.
They're coming. They're gonna grab this fight, and they have their rally.
I haven't really seen you use scroll wheel jump. Do you use scroll wheel? And if you don't, you should definitely start learning scroll wheel. I think I've seen you use it like maybe once or twice so far.
Yeah, speeding.
You guys are really split here. You should call it a group on somebody and push the same target.
Run. I'm beating.
Good beat. Good job not jumping in the grav.
Swing.
I would hold amp until after the trank ends and then amp, rather than amping during the trank. You amp speed, which is better than amping heals, obviously, but it also doesn't get a ton of value because they're all grouped together anyways. Nice job running away to not die.
Nowhere else. Fight one.
Good job healing. Yeah! That was a clean map, dog. Nice job. I had to get like real nitpicky to get details. No, don't throw now. That'd be really awkward.
Sorry. Fight one.
Bang!
Lucio some point. Class point. Big.
Dude, the rare reptile tracer. You hate to see it. Nice job realizing you can get back on. Nice! Wow, that was a really clean point. That's my boy Lifa. My man. A weird roster, not gonna lie. Bunch of players I did not think would be playing together. I love Reptile. Yeah, dude. Reptile's a nice guy.
Like going like green instead of like actually like speeding with Lucio. Is there a way to differentiate?
I say
Like
amping.
swapping like aura and then like actually like speeding with your full.
Reptile is indeed the homie.
Yeah. Like how.
It's a project team. Gotcha.
Let's do Krieg. Let's do.
A lot of them float around. Dude, I saw a project team with my boy Derek on it and I freaked out. I was like, what? I'm gonna need to go watch a block or two of that. Get to watch my boy Derek play again. I haven't seen that man in a minute. You gonna try with them today? Oh, I gotcha. How'd the tryout go? Okay, this is good. You guys took point presence initially. Anytime you can take presence on point early is good. You force them to rotate into you.
Amping heal some point. Sorry, one. We have low healing.
That's the Young Guns or whatever, right? Morbid? I think I'm in that Discord. I'll have to try to show up for a block when we don't have scrims.
They're coming up on. They're gonna be close to beat, and they have their grab here soon. You'll be able to
Okay.
this valley.
I'd be taxiing here rather than spamming. Just make sure everybody gets back in time for Izzy re-engage.
Yeah, she's gonna be close to grab. She's close to grab. So focus her this way.
Ow. The heck?
I have
Just smacked my mic with my headset. Sorry, guys.
Epic heals point. Ryan one. They have grab. They have grab and shatter.
It was good ampage usage so far.
Fight one. No more else.
This map is really clean, dog. Y'all are doing work.
I'll use beat first, Sully. I'm using beat first. They're coming in with shatter and grab. Shatter, grab, trance. Yeah, so Lucio.
Continually kite them so we get an ally out.
Discord Zoya. Discord's right now.
I'm small servicing here.
That's bubble.
Discord run.
I'm beating first. I'm beating.
Okay, good job calling that you were doing it.
Ryan's still Discord. Watch shatter.
During a fight like this, make sure to call what you want to do. So like, hey, let's kite the plane then re-engage, or like, hey, let's make sure we keep playing for our win condition or something. Just like make sure you're communicating to the team what's going on. That way they don't split too hard.
Burn him. He's one. Ryan, round one.
Don't flip it, don't flip it.
He's down. Amping Gil's point.
On the side, help. Break priority. Bash.
Could have peeled for your Zen there, but he also didn't call it. He was getting hurt early, and you had the touch point, so kind of like a 50-50. I don't know. Best map I have is scrims today.
Watch boop.
Yeah,
Back.
go for it, dude.
She used to. I'm amping speed. Sorry, no
Any map is fine. I don't care what I watch.
He still has shatter. And they're coming up on another trans. Yeah, I'm grabbing him. They have shatter. They have trans for this next fight. Let's look for bash shatter.
Okay, good call so far.
Yeah, I'm back.
We're both playing for our shatters.
Be spamming for your ult here. Good beep. Or good boop. English is hard language.
Sorry behind. I'll beat first. I'm beating first.
Yeah, that was clean execution. One thing I will say is definitely look to 360 a little bit more.
Part of the club, Harv, I got you.
Everyone can have a shield. Thank you very much.
There's a few times there where like people got low behind you and you weren't able to help them in time, so just make sure you're 316 a little bit more actively to make sure nobody's behind you that needs help.
Let's do the triple hammer dive here.
Triple tank dive open widow.
Do you have your Hammond calling engages or?
We're engaging on slam. We're looking for widow picks initially, and then acro chase.
I'm gonna be looking.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to play this comp. Nice.
Be ready to follow up on it. I'm gonna be looking for Ezra coming through.
Get it, man.
Normally we go for Ana or whatever. If we have Ana.
I'll be looking for nade on your slam. So. Good one.
If I heard they were playing crew comp, I would swap pretty fast, but that's just me. You have some interesting comps due to the nature of the roster. Yeah, dude. Don't worry, I have
No bash?
been there, done that. I am quite familiar with having to have interesting comps together rosters.
Sustain, we're low. Sustain. We have no diva.
I'm touching point.
Okay. I was gonna say, against this comp in particular, against Creek comp, you really want to be playing corners as hard as you can, and just jiggling and pre-firing, and then kiting away. Lucio's biggest strength is his ability to wall ride, right? So corners are literally the best friend you can ever have. Like, jiggle on corners, spam at headshot level, hope to get picks, and then if they walk at you, you just wall ride your way out of there like a little skater boy, and it's super safe. So I'd be a little bit more concerned with playing in the open here, especially against Creek comp, because good Crees will 2-tap you every single time, and it's pretty scary. Can't confirm. You can ask Felty. They have a Kree on their roster who literally 2-taps you every time on 200 ping, and it's pretty great. You literally just can't peek him. It's super fun. Still working on Lucio, only been playing for him approximately 2 months, give or take. Yeah. I mean, you're doing fine, dude. Don't worry. Your gameplay is very solid overall. Most of this is just like super micro adjustments. But for like an open divisions Lucio, you're definitely doing fine. I would not stress it at all.
Stagger. Kill Diva 1. After kills. Diva 1. I got her. Okay. They're coming. They have high noon and trance.
Snow was really difficult to play against too. He punched me a lot. Yeah, I guess I can talk about it. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. Like, the difference between Snow and Luna on that roster is actually crazy because they have somewhat similar playstyles, but it's also different enough where you can't punish them the same way. So it's like, I don't know, playing against Snow, you have to be very proactive and understand what he's going to do and how to counter it. So, like, understanding how Snow thinks it's best to take fights, and once you understand that, it's not the hardest thing to counter, but it's like, if you don't understand what he looks to do, then it's very, very, very hard to beat them. Same thing with Luna, but Luna's a little bit different on how he plays.
I'm beating. Go aggro. Play aggro.
Pushing here isn't the best thing in the world since you're pushing out of your Widowmaker's LOS, so you're basically just by yourself. Also, I'd be very, again, careful playing at the double sum comp, walking anywhere where you can be stunned. So if you are going to be playing aggressive like that, I'd be up in the skybox rather than on the ground.
Help her, Anna.
Amp speed there, then switch to heals.
That's primal.
I suppose I should talk about it. Okay, so amp has a lingering hitbox, or a lingering effect, I should say. So once you amp, if you start out your amp on speed and then switch to heals, the speed will still carry over temporarily. So you can like start with an amp on heal, or sorry, start with an amp on speed, then switch to heal and still be moving faster for a while still getting the maximum amp heal off. Same thing for vice versa. So if you amp heal to start and then switch to speed, you'll still be getting heals as you're switching to speed and going faster. That's why you see so many Lucios who are constantly crossfading, is because you want to min-max crossfade as efficiently as possible. So like speed for like a half a second to get somebody into position, then switch back to heal to get the heal up, then go back to speed, just, you know, constantly swapping to get the value as you see fit. Which I wouldn't stress about now, but as you get better and better at Lucio, like the more you'll start crossfading, basically. Or the more you should be trying to crossfade to maximize efficiency. In my opinion, I think Lucio is one of the hardest characters in the game. Just because there's so much you need to do on that hero. This positioning is really aggressive for you. I wouldn't be sitting up there. I'd just be like halfway between on the ground, basically. So like not with your backline, but not with your front line either. Just in a position where you can rotate and help either or.
Diva 1, Diva 1. Diva 1, Diva 1, Diva 1. Epic kills.
Good job peeling for your Ana. Again, more 316.
Come point.
You're kind of tunneling on what you're fighting for the most part, and don't check the backline that often. So just make sure you're 316 a little bit more.
Brig. Focus break. Brig one. Nice guys.
What a clean map, dude. I don't think you even died there. Oops. That was some Paul gameplay, dog. Nice job. Yeah, that was a really clean map. So 360 a little bit more. Learn to scroll wheel alright, because it's very, very, very important to be able to do. Min-max your crossfade a little bit more, and then some safer positioning on the other map. I think those are the big takeaways. But, I mean, overall, that was some solid gameplay. Time is it? 11:30? 11:40? Yeah, we got time for VOD. 1 second, boys. We'll switch to the BRB screen real quick, and then we're gonna pull up another VOD. Who should we watch? You know, we've been kind of on a Lucio kick. Maybe I'll watch my own play. Find a VOD from a while ago. This what I think it is. This will be fun to watch. I don't think anything Monkass was said in chat in this VOD. So. Okay, Flame 0. Yeah, it is this one. Okay. 1 second, boys. Still trying to fix stuff. Okay. Alright, it's gonna be potato quality, but we'll review the gameplay anyways. Which one was this? Okay, so this was versus Sky Foxes? Yeah, versus Sky Foxes. Man, the bitrate on this is actually atrocious. Alright, I apologize, chat. Okay, so we'll go and watch this one. And we'll probably call it a night after that. Okay, flex support. Always in group. If you aren't doing that, get on it. Make sure your flex support is in your group. It makes it easier to find them. The big group is important. Dude, I figured out the hotkey finally for changing the playback speed on VLC, and it's changed my life. Made it so much easier. If I'm not mistaken, I think this was our first map of facing them in trials, I think? Right, Felty? I could be wrong. I think this was our map against them in trials. Because they don't have Zombs playing, so I couldn't have been the... Yeah, it was trials. So just sitting around spawn waiting. I'm not going to play comms because I don't remember what was said, and yeah, can't be playing comms. Okay, so I stopped the scout. I don't need to... Okay, so actually I should... Gotta remember to actually pause the VOD and talk about stuff rather than just watching it. My bad, boys. Okay, so right here on the rollout, our comp doesn't do anything aggressive, so I can just sit here and camp the window and look to see. Look what they have. At this point, I should have called with all they have. And then from there, I rotate over to play with my backline. We're playing Kree comp against what I know to be a Doom comp, so I'm going to tell us to rotate point early probably here. There's one or two calls I can make right here. I either tell us to take point and control the objective since they are forced to rotate into us, which is a little bit scarier, or I can tell us to just bum rush them. English is a hard language. If we bum rush them with this comp, we should be able to just blow up a tank and kill them. Because we have double stun, they don't, so we theoretically win a mirror. Sorry, we theoretically win a tank matchup. They engage into us before we can. Doom comes into the back line and gets kicked on a clappered because it's Briggs, or greedy Brig, which, you know, you can't really play Doom into. I rotate point, the rest of my team just kind of does their thing. We eventually all get to point and chill out. We're looking to make trials this season, still a bit away, but definitely doable. Yeah, dude. 100%. Trials is always the goal for you guys. Just gotta make sure you keep grinding. Make sure to do review. Too many open teams don't review at all. They focus on like scrimming 4 hours a day and never review anything. It's actually a waste of time. In my opinion, you should be scrimming about the same amount of time as you're reviewing. So if you're scrimming for 4 hours a day, you should be doing 4 hours of review. If you're doing 2 hours of scrimmage, you should be doing 2 hours of review. Review is incredibly important. We int here for no reason. The call is to play slow and ping pong on time. The call is to play slow and ping pong on point. Unfortunately, we end up feeding mech, so I rotate over to try to help contest point a little bit here, which is, I think, a misplay on my part, but I don't get punished for it, so it's okay. I think I probably should have just played safe with the backline and told them to rotate in with me, but it ends up working out. That's cool. We're not gonna take it no more. We have rally popped, and we know they're so close, so we just decide to chase. It's pretty much unpunishable for them, so we just get free value. The only way we can get punished is exactly what happened where King just one-shot somebody, at which point we're still even because we killed them as well, so both sides are in respawn, so then it's just waiting for respawners to get back. I could be taxing here, but I decided to play with the backline in case. Okay, so the options are either go taxi or I play with backline. If I play with backline, it doesn't get our Brig back as quickly, but it also means I can peel for our backline, so it's like 50-50, half one, half the other. I think taxing probably should have been the play, but I also wanted to be greedy and farm my ult to help counter engage, so I don't end up getting punished for it, which is good. I speed forward to try to get an aura so that I can beat, thinking they'd come back to me, but they get hard CC, so I just decided to hold beat. Miscommunication with Pizza and I think I called that I was beating first, but he ends up tranking because he gets forced, so it's just a little awkward situation. Game day nerves, it happens. I try to stall point as long as I can, get scuffed and die. Unlucky or Berducky. Looking at what else they have. Starting to pass in, looking for an engaged opportunity. I want to make sure that I play with my team. We see that they're playing close, so we don't want to walk into the angle where we want to make it harder for the Doomfist to collapse into us. So we play the angle where he has to use the most abilities to get into us. And we start slowly rotating the point from there. We decide to wrap, I think if I remember correctly. Yeah, we decide to wrap on them, which I think makes sense. We just want to force their supports out of position. We see a dive opportunity, so we speed onto them. Pizza gets scuffed and like super out of position, but it doesn't get punished. Leafa also goes forward by himself and gets out of position. Once again, with this roster in particular, bye week, we had like an issue where players just like couldn't stay together. Like, I'd be hard microing people to tell them where to play, and like we'd still end up split the entire time. We had like some pretty serious trust issues with like interplayer relationships and just like playing together in general. Made for a lot of difficulties. Okay, so once again, communicating with comp or what ults they have. You're on Congarna now, right? Yeah, I'm the coach for Congarna. So we decide to rotate again. It worked well last time, so we're going to try to make it happen again. We see that they start rotating, so we back up. Just do a good old double debate. We catch King in his rotation, which we are able to punish. We kind of play like a bunch of chickens right here and don't really do anything. Bomb comes in, I kite it, Leafa somehow dies to it. Like this fight was so scuffed. We just had like a really awkward engage in general. My week's running trying to trials was also something else. Like it was super sus. I don't want to get into it too much, but it was something else. That's for sure. Maybe I'll do a thingy with Michael and talk about it or something. I don't know. It was weird though. That's for sure. Once it commits with primal, okay. So at this point, we're just like desperately trying to get back onto the points. It's 90%. I get above, so I don't end up dying to him. I'm not able to save Leafa because he gets stuck in a corner. I try to get out and don't end up. I shouldn't have tried to drop down and save Leafa at all. I should have just left him and gone to point. But I tried to save him, so I end up dying, which won't cost us a map, but it definitely didn't help in us winning it. Pretty unfortunate. Oh, too far. Okay, good old goats. If I remember correctly, we always passed far left. Far left is faster than going, you know, bottom right to point, which makes sense. But I personally think that pathing high ground is a little bit better, as it gives you a better first fight against a few different comps. It also allows you to set the tempo on the other goats team. Whereas if you both go here and mirror, it's kind of 50-50. And if you're not winning 50-50s, you shouldn't be taking 50-50s. They hit a fat purple. We don't do anything to stop it. We try to cleanse with bubbles. We continue to scuff the fight. We're down abilities at that point, and they just manage to collapse and target focus. If you're in a situation like that, where you get purpled and you have to use all your abilities to cleanse, you don't take the fight then. You just chill for a second. They're down 1 heal ability, and you're down at least 3 abilities, so you're at a material disadvantage. So you just wait for the fight to reset even tempo and then re-engage. Oh, this is the whole thing. Dang. All right, we are not watching the whole thing. We are going to watch, like, this map, and that's it. Because this series was depressing. I mean, this whole watch was. What else? Okay. I thought we were going, so I went way forward. We didn't end up going, so I cut it back. Yeah, this is all sus. Like, at that point, we just gotta reset. Dude got picked, so only so much you can do. You just gotta reset, go next. We have Shatter coming into next, so I call for Shatter first, then grab Diva after. We should get Diva. It's 50%. The whole fight will probably build up Diva Bomb. So I call for using Shatter first, grab Diva second. We path through main. I call to take a wide angle and get the point fast before they engage on us. We call it their split, so we decide to engage on them. They end up grabbing our backline because our backline didn't rotate with us. And then we're forced to trank the grab. They Diva Bomb the grab and get value because they shattered our back. Moral of the story here, kids, is trust your team and follow the call. Don't stay by yourself and get grabbed. We're not gonna take it. Whoop, too far. Oh, we're not gonna make it. We all rotate together to point, again, taking the wide angle so we don't meet. We try to get point to play the point so we don't have to worry about contesting an OT. I almost have beat, so I'm just trying to play super safe and farm it up. I see that their Ryan's inside of us swinging like crazy, so I decided to beat to make sure that nobody died while we all turned to kill him, which we do, which is good. Then we all go back to point. We're up Orion, so we should just be walking at them. I make sure to get everybody in aura, and then we should just be able to focus targets and win without using any ults. Which is what we see. We did it, boys. I hit tab again to see what they have and what we have, talk about plans. We're halfway up on our Grav. We have Diva Bomb, so I probably call to try to farm Grav and then grab Diva late in fight. Probably nano our Ryan first, then grab Diva. I'm assuming would be my call there. Just let our Ryan go ham, make space, build up Zarya, Grav, and then go. We called her engage a choke, but we had nobody scouting, so we didn't see they were coming in until it was too late, so then we have to just play point. This point, it's super scary. We kind of like have to make a play, which is what we end up doing. They grab us, so we nano our Ryan and throw a Diva Bomb, but they just walk past us and engage into us. At this point, we were just lost and we were just gonna lose. It's pretty unfortunate. Only so much you can do, you know? Yeah. I should do a video sometime, that bye week or something. Because that was our roster right there. Oh yeah, so that will probably be it for the review today, boys. I'll be doing another one tomorrow. Morbid, if you send it to me, I'll review yours tomorrow. If not, I don't know. Maybe I'll do World Cup Viewer. I'll either do World Cup Viewer or I'll do Korean Contenders, one of the two. But thank you guys for stopping in. Make sure to follow the Discords and all that fun stuff. You know, follow the socials to never miss an update. And I will see you boys hopefully tomorrow. Thank you for stopping in.